Hello, welcome to the channel. Bob here, of course, and I'm playing some TAC P today, Everquest. Just because, why not? Really, it's been a while since I played any Everquest actually, and last time I was playing TAC P, I was kind of on the verge of beginning to level up a druid and a druidid and a plate tank of some kind. But the plate tank I got is a bit too high for the druid to level to group with at the moment, so I'm just kind of helping my druid along on the old leveling front. Essentially, a little druid called Aspens. I'm on my shaman. I'm basically knocking mobs at a far too high level down for me to just less than 50%, hopefully, and then and killing them with my pet. Yeah, I guess this is kind of me in between games, really, or games that I would or can stream anyway, or whatever, or that kind of thing. Oh, there we go. Let's kill that red mob and get myself a 10% XP. Holy smokes! It's kind of like druid power leveling, but really badly, but much slower. But it works. That's the key thing. Yeah, but I really fancied some EverQuest, that kind of gameplay. But I keep logging into P99, but for some reason at the moment it's just not holding me on. I know this is like boxing and people don't like boxing, but boxing kind of just gives another dimension to the game completely, really. I think it adds to it to a certain extent. Most of these mobs are bluing out now. But my guy's just gone level 7. I'm not sure. I might be able to I might be able to group with my Shadow Knight now, so I can go and probably do some. I should go into Cairns. Maybe I'll get one more level and see what happens. This is kind of like the nicest thing I think about MMOs in general, particularly MMOs that are paced in this way, where I'm just sitting here chilling out, pulling mobs. I don't really care for anything else. It's just that kind of gameplay that where you kind of switch off and just I think since I've been doing it, I think people. I mean, I know a lot of people don't like boxing at all. They kind of think it's anti MMOs, but I don't know about that. I think it's perfectly fine to a point. I think if it reaches a point where it's affecting like raids and stuff, and you've got, I don't know, 4 people going on raids with full groups and whatnot, unless that's the only way you can do it, I think that's where things start to be a bit of an issue. Or if you've got people that can't level because of boxing and stuff, or can't get groups. But then I suppose it's a boxing server, so I guess you have to come onto the server with that in mind, really. That's that might happen. What I think would probably would have been a good idea from a boxing point of view is, and it's something that I might still do in the future, is just have a class that you really, really want to play, and then you have one box, you have a partner, but you still play the character, you still play your main character just as one, as if you're playing it singly, whereas the other box is just there purely just to support the one you're playing. I guess a bard or something will be quite good in that regard. But pretty much everything you do is on your main character. Or even just parking somewhere just for buffs and stuff, and just keep running back for buffs every now and again. But yep, I know a lot of people don't like boxing. Oops, I was one of those. I was going to say actually, I guess I think Everquest videos tend to get more views, so more of you will. Oops, hello. He's running off. More of you will probably see it, but I did remove myself from the YouTube partner program recently, which means that my content is no longer monetized, and it also means that those of you who kind of had like a subscription, like more members, and were kind of like paying a monthly fee, you probably discover that you're now not doing that. But I do appreciate all of that stuff, all that watching and paying and whatnot. It just got. I mean, I've said before that I hate YouTube and Google. I hate their policies, hate their politics, hate their ideologies, and it just got to a point where I just didn't want to deal with all that stuff anymore. All that kind of like, you know. And I kind of feel also that you're kind of a bit of a different person as well, because when you got monetization and you want monetization or you need monetization, you're just petrified about what you say, in case someone takes offence or something, or you get a strike or whatever it is. So you end up not saying what you think, and I think there's too much of that, not saying what people think. So yes, I'm out of that. So you might get a message, or you might discover that you're not in it anymore, or maybe you're just not even aware that you still were. It's one of those things, you know, when you sign up, subscribe to something, and then you forget about it, and then a year later you look at your bank account and think, oh, I still subscribe to that. The hell? Okay, so what we got here, we've got a big red boy there. XR Bandit is red, but I know that my guy can beat those with the buffs that he's got. So I'll pull that over. We can at least get it to 50% anyway. So I don't know about anyone else, but it's funny, I always kind of return to Everquest when things are when the market is generally low, or you're struggling to find something to play. I think the MMO market is just an absolute disaster at the moment. You seem to have two ends. One end is what people moan about, the modern MMO and all the stuff that people don't like in those games. Then at the other end, you've got all these small indie developers who are trying to offer us, or telling us that they're offering us what we want, but that doesn't seem to work out particularly well either. You know, I know that there'll be people playing those games or playing modern MMOs, and I'm sure you're loving them, but in general, I don't think any of them are probably doing as well as they could or should be doing. But yeah, but I always find that you just return to Everquest, really. It's that bone binder. I don't want that. Giant scorpion. We can do that one. I was watching some stuff about, it was interesting doing the stress test for Monsters and Memories, and then after that I was kind of reading and watching some stuff about Pantheon, and how that, I think rightly so, you know, is in a bad place with regards to how maybe the more general community feel about it. Obviously you always get people that will defend it till the ends of the earth because they've got something invested in it or whatever it is, but yeah, that doesn't seem to be doing particularly well from a popularity point of view. I think that I remember going way back. I think it's when I first looked at Pantheon and how they were developing it. And I'm sure I said on a video, I said to myself, well, I said on a video, I think, and to myself, I actually quite like this. It's a bit old school, you know, where the game is being developed behind closed doors and you can't see it. But then, of course, what happens is that, let's get that one. Then, of course, what happens is that they then get into a situation where you get people paying lots of money to be able to play it, and then it kind of lessens that effect, and you kind of feel that, you know, what am I missing out on here, and how is the development now being directed and influenced by these people who are investing lots of money just to play once a week or whatever it is now, or once a month. Is it one? Well, it wasn't at all, was it? It was occasionally. Now I think it's once a month. I think that's an issue as well as time goes on as well, because you've got people seeing other people playing, but you're having to pay an awful lot of money to play, and then you wonder how it's being influenced, and the time goes on and you just can't play the game, and you want to play the game, and then you can only play the game if you cough up a load of cash for something that you don't even know if it's going to release. Really. And I think people have reached that point where I think people have reached that point with MMOs generally where they're just not, you know, they've got no patience anymore. You know, if your MMO comes out and it doesn't capture them straight away, or there are issues or some weird design stuff, then they drop it. You know, if you're an MMO that's promising the world but you're taking 10 years to come out, again, people are just not. I think people are just past the point where their patience have gone for that kind of thing. Oh, hello. Well, the aggro range seems to be bigger than on P99 here. That footpad was a fair old chunk of distance away. Oh, it looked like it anyway. Maybe it was the angle I was at. I hope the stream's actually working. Anyway, yeah, I do feel that the MMO scene is pretty turgid at the moment, all round. I hear quite a lot. You hear quite a lot in the single player environment where people talk about indie developers being the saviour of single player games, but I don't really think that's turned out to be the case in MMOs. I think we thought it might do, and we kind of wanted it to be, but I think the thing is that MMOs are so difficult to develop and get ready and release to a crowd that is now a lot less tolerant of, and I guess we're also a lot less tolerant because of single player games as well, because of the way that AAA games get released. I mean, it's the sort of game that I would have played in the past, but I just can't look at those kind of games anymore where it looks like all the characters are some sort of hipstery, checkboxy type characters that everyone must hate in games, but they keep putting them in games. But that vampire game recently that released and was an absolute shit show from a technical standpoint and a gameplay standpoint. And I think this was from the developer that did Dishonored at one point, wasn't it? I mean, they've really gone down the pan. It read something or whatever, can't remember. But we've always got Everquest, thanks to those people who, those guys who let us on their servers. There's so many Everquest servers, like emulated ones. I had no idea. Loads of stuff that's kind of like it's got loads of custom content as well, which I'm not sure how I feel about. I've never been one for custom content in any game, even single player games. Like even mods and stuff. Like I very rarely use a mod for a game. I think the only games that I really used mods on recently were the Stalker games, but they kind of needed, well, the first game anyway, needed a mod to actually get it to run properly. But I think the only mods I use now is if I'm playing an old retro game and I need a mod to get it to work in a certain resolution or whatever it may be. I'm a terribly messy character, messy player. I just can't be able to loot the stuff and pick it all up. I keep meaning to start a new character on P99, like from fresh. I'm not sure I've mentioned this in a video, but I played through New World when they released some new servers where you could only start with new characters on. And I've tried something new. I thought to myself, I'm going to play this game completely differently to how I played it before. So what I decided to do was run everywhere, not use fast travel. The only stuff that I would wear or use as weapons were either stuff that I made myself, or stuff that I dropped from quests and whatnot, or from dungeons and stuff. And it was really interesting to do that. And I got to a point where I didn't have much carrying weight and I needed bags, and I had to go and make them myself. Yeah, so the gameplay was a lot more diverse. It was kind of broken up between periods of leveling, excuse me, and periods of crafting for the stuff that I needed. And I think the problem with Everquest on an emulated server, when you've been on there for a while, is you don't, I guess you don't appreciate what you've got because you've got so much stuff. And I think the experience to a certain extent can be lesser because of that. So you get a new character and you don't pick up stuff off the floor because it's not important, because you've got loads of platinum or whatever it is, or you've got all the stuff. And I think the gameplay loop then can be a bit, yeah, because you're not looking forward to any upgrades. It doesn't really matter if you get platinum or not, and all that kind of stuff. So I was thinking about starting a class on. Actually, I was kind of inspired by doing the stress testing for Monsters and Memories, because it was quite nice just to start a new class, and I didn't have any other characters on there that had anything on that they could twink with or whatever it was. And I thought it might be quite a nice thing to do, nice change of pace. But then I start thinking to myself, what class shall I choose? I don't know. You know, I kind of want something that's going to be reasonably easy to solo, but you know. And I get into that whole class thing. What class shall I choose? And then a week later, I've forgotten about it, because I spent a day trying to decide what class and I couldn't, so I just forgot about it. Necromancer seems like it might be quite a good class for that, or maybe even one of the, I don't know. Maybe I should change and go for one of the tanks or the DPS classes. Like, I've always had a big ranger fetish. And I quite like the look of the Ranger on Everquest, regardless of what people say about it. Yeah, I think the thing that attracts me to the Ranger as well is I quite like to start, it's just that thought of starting up a new character, and like stuff that drops off of mobs is all relevant to you. It's all worth something. What have I got here? If you only ever played on P99, there's probably some spells that you never heard of before, like Spirit of Bailey, which is just like a group Spirit of Wolf, really. Just need to buff my dude a bit. I'd sort of be interested to hear if any of you guys have kind of, even if you're super rich on P99, you've started a new class from scratch, and it's just self-supporting, and what class you played, how you got on. I mean, that would make a brilliant, if I can find the enthusiasm to do it, I think that would make a brilliant video series. Getting back to basics on Everquest. It's funny because I didn't quite want to get back to basics when I was thinking about it. I was thinking to myself, what I maybe could do is I could role play my. I might do that just to soften the blow a little bit. But I'm not sure if that would detract from it too much. But I thought to myself, I could role play a young man who who's following the footsteps of his father, and his father's left him an heirloom or two. You know, not a fungi tunic. Oh, I could actually roleplay Frodo. Uncle Bilbo's left me his regenerating mithril shirt. But yeah, that kind of thing. And I thought to myself it might be quite fun to do that, but do it like every 3 levels. So every 10 levels, like this stuff is in the care of someone, and every 10 levels you get something. Nothing crazy like a hit point ring or something, you know, not like a fungi tunic. Maybe an old sword, a cheap sword. Thing is, I suppose, is that I was thinking about Ranger. I think is it Sword of Skyfire? I think even as a new character, you could probably save up and pick up that sword pretty quickly, pretty cheaply. I'm just waffling here. I mean, I'm hoping the stream's working. Otherwise, I was talking to myself. Yeah, that might be quite fun. But I don't know what class. It needs to be a class that's going to be interesting. So probably not a warrior. I keep thinking about a bard, but I don't know. I don't know about the bard really. Ranger, Shadow Knight interests me. Paladin a bit as well. I quite like the. From what I've read, I like the look of the Inquisitor on that Monsters and Memories. It looks like a cross between it's like a tank, but it's like a cross between. I guess they're copying the Shadow Knight Paladin format, except it's a warrior plus enchanter, which sounds interesting. Let's pull the old Scorps. Whee! Woo! Yeah, I'm kind of getting quite excited about that idea of starting a fresh character on P99 and just leveling and doing a video series about it. I need to choose the character. I need to choose a class. It needs to be the right class. Right, where are we? Almost level 8. I think we could probably. Let's get to level 8, then I'll log my Shadow Knight on to see if they can group up yet. You know, I don't even know what's going on P99 anymore. Got no idea who the guilds are, what the raiding's like, who's doing what, who's still playing. I don't even know if any which of you guys are playing. Completely fallen out of the loop. I don't know what my guy's got really. He's got a few bits. What's he got? Wraithbone Hammer. Seems to be doing the job. There's a lot of stuff that's really cheap on Attack P. I was amazed at how similar Attack P is, but at the same time not similar. Yeah, I think a lot of it comes down to the control system. The fact that you can't use a scroll wheel to scroll in and out of your vision, and the actual mouse movement to move your character around in general is a bit flaky. And some little things as well, with things like I think like Mez spells and the calm line of spells and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, the mobs also stop chasing you if you get a certain distance from them, and they'll just stand there. But if you move into range again, they'll start chasing you. That's quite a weird thing. I'm assuming that was just a TAC P thing. I think they did some sort of rubber banding thing on P99, didn't they? But I think they would actually reset. I think they would actually reset and go back rather than kind of chase you again when they got in range. I'm not 100% sure. Going back to the P99 thing again, it would need to be a class that is reasonably self-sufficient, although I think if you put enough time in, any classes can be self-sufficient, even a warrior really, if you're dogged enough. Not saying against grouping, but just when I play, there's just always a lot less players on, and there's no raiding going on particularly. But I like to play another class that's interesting, got a lot of interesting quests. And little things to do on its own that are kind of class based. That'd be quite interesting. I'll have to have a look at the list later. Okay, level 8. Let's how painful is this going to be? Let's load up I'll just load up my Shadow Knight to see what. Assuming I can remember the many passwords that are required for the many passwords that are required to to have all these accounts. Because even though it's like free box, I have more than 3 boxes because I've got more than 3 accounts because I've got classes kind of spread around. Oh, if I can remember what the password is. There we go. Yeah, and so I tried to keep them logical. So if I've got an account with a cleric on, like I don't want to put a tank on that account, if you know what I mean, that kind of thing. Oh, where is he? Oh, look at that. It's quite cool running the same game with different clients because OBS just lets me just quickly flip between the clients, which is pretty neat. This is my Shadow Knight dude he's fairly well twinked. No, I've got a fungi tuning. I've got a fungi tunic on this account, but although I do think they are much cheaper here. Right, let's invite the dude. I'll go and pull something to see. I'll go and pull something to see if he gets any experience. One of the things on TAC P running obviously running What should we pull? Oh no, that's the wrong dude. One of the issues on TAC P is obviously skill gains and stuff. Like you can fall way behind on skill gains, and that could be a real problem. They do allow you to use something to get around that. It's like to macro it, but I think there's a certain rule for it. If you want to look, if you want to be outside, you kind of need to use the keys a bit to give you an outside look. But there's no like left mouse button to turn the camera around. I guess you kind of got that view, which is not very good. What sword my bloke's using? Defiance. Right, yeah, so Druid didn't get any XP there. I don't think it's got... Ah, actually, maybe I need to damage the mob. Maybe that's what it is. I'll try that. I'll just see if I can nuke it, basically. There's some mobs out here that are even con, even to my Shadow Knight, who's level 13. So what I'm probably better off doing is switching the client over to the Druid actually, so you can see what's going on. So I need to try and see if I can hit the thing. Okay, we did some damage. Let's see if we get XPs. Super hasty. I must have a haste item, I guess. I don't know what it is though. Oh, maybe I haven't. No, he still didn't get XP, so he's only 5 levels behind now. I guess because they're low level though. I guess the issue is that they're just too low level, basically. Because they're so level, I guess it's like percentage based, and because they're such a low level, there's probably to do with that. So I'll go back to my Druid. I don't understand all of the differences, but there's some real changes to certain classes. Like on TAC P, Druid is really is a class that is really sought after. Like they get a massive aggro aggroless heal in the 50s, which is pretty cool. Shamans get one as well, but it's less healing. Hey mate. Oh, what, can you do your own group on that? Your whole group on that one? I don't think I could manage that actually. Let's push that one down. Yeah, and lots of other cool buffs and stuff. Shaman's got some great new buffs. Enchanter, really powerful. I like the AA, I think it is as well, that allows you to cast like area-wide buffs. That's pretty cool. Oops, I think I might have gone too early there. My bloke's not going to get XP for that one, is he? No. That was way too early. Yeah, all going okay. Thanks, friends. All going okay. Just come back to Everquest because of the state of the MMO genre at the moment. Although, as I said, I'm sure there's millions of people quite happily playing their favourite MMOs. I was talking about that earlier, actually. Like what I felt that I should have done on here, and I might do it again if I ever do another duo or whatever, is kind of have a character that you really want to play, and that is just the character you focus on completely. But then you just have like a buff bot type thing going around, following you around essentially, but they don't do anything other than buff. Hey mate, how you doing? Hope you're well. Yeah, I'm hoping to. All roads lead to Everquest, don't they, eventually again? Yeah, I just don't know when these games are coming out, though. Like I said earlier, like Pantheon seems to be in a really. I knew it was you, mate. Yeah, Pantheon seems to be in a really bad place at the moment from a how people are feeling about it. Like going and looking at forums and stuff, and the Facebook page and all that kind of stuff. I know you get trolls and whatnot, but it doesn't seem to be in a particularly good place with regards to consumer confidence. I think it's just taking too long. Like, what can you say? You know, like I can remember 2 years ago and 5 years ago saying the same sort of things, looking at it and saying, oh yeah, well it's looking good, but it's still got a little while to go. But hopefully in a couple of years we'll be in there, but we're still waiting. And I'm looking at I did have a quick look at recent footage, and it still doesn't look anywhere near being ready. And I know the White Knights say, oh, well, they've completely changed their net code and blah and all that kind of stuff. But it gets to a point where that becomes almost Star Citizen levels of excuse. You've got to. It is Hotel California, mate. You're absolutely right. I think it gets to the point where you have to take some responsibility for what's going on. Again, just repeating what I said from earlier, really, but I, coming from an old school gaming background, I once thought that closed development, where you don't just let people pay $30 and just play it no matter what state it in, was a good idea, but I don't actually think it is anymore. Not the way that Pantheon are doing it. I did actually, yeah, I did. Like, I think someone sent me a message who was involved in it, saying like to give it a try, and I did. Yeah, I have seen it, and so I'll try and look at that at some point. I don't know how they're going to get away with it, because it really did look like Everquest, but I don't know. But yeah, I did get a message from someone who's working on that, and. But going back, yeah, Ashes of Creation again looks great, looks great fun, but who knows? It's what I hope is that there's not a new business model where MMOs. I can't just blame Pantheon for it, because I think that the games that are released at the moment are doing it as well. I'm worried there's a new business model going around that's called stringing people along for as long as you can while you're getting paid for a few years doing what you want to do, but actually it's not actually really going to go anywhere, and in the end, you know, I'm not saying anyone's purposely trying to con anyone, but I just think sometimes I don't know. Well, the guy I'm just going back answering questions. A guy I'm leveling is a druid, because druids are super useful in Planes of Power era, and I wanted a plate tank. Essentially, I mean, what happened was with TAC P was I just picked my 3 favourite classes and thought I'll just do that. And I levelled them, and I think they're all 58 or something at the moment, which is fine, and I will play all of them. But I didn't really consider the practicalities of what is a good box, what is a good duo or a free box, whatever it may be. So what I'm doing now is I thought to myself, well, I want to level a plate tank because they seem super useful, particularly for trioing big stuff. I think, you know, people say that the Beast Lord's really good at tanking later on, but you need tons of AAs for that apparently, and I'm not quite sure if how much time that would take. So I thought I'd get a plate tank up. Oh, thanks, mate. Much appreciated. Fake until you make it, but yeah, it does seem to be that way. I mean, you know, we all understand how difficult it is to make an MMO, but holy smokes, you know, there has to be a limit to everyone's tolerance. Free Beast Lords, yeah. I mean, I have to say, like, Free Beast Lords are. An ogre, a troll, and a barbarian. That'd be what a group make. Yeah, but I didn't think about group makeup when I started my first trio. So then I started thinking a bit more about group makeup. Whether it'd be a good idea or not, I've got no idea. But I'm just enjoying just faffing around, sitting here doing this really at the moment. As I said before, Everquest is the game. Is the game that you return to because it's like a comfort blanket. Going back to what you were saying about actually playing free tunes and not being able to bond with a main. That was something that I struggled with a lot and probably still do. But and I was looking on the forums. This was ages ago. I was looking on the forums, and what someone did purposely. They came from P99 as well. What they did was they said there's a class. I think it's Enchanter. Enchanter is my favourite class. I'm going to come over to TAC P, and that's what I'm going to play. And I'm going to play it. I'm going to have a trio, but I'm still going to play it like I played on P99. So my Enchanter's going to do everything. I'm still going to be charming, you know, controlling charm breaks, bloody blah, and all that sort of stuff. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a bard follow me around, just playing songs, and I think maybe like a cleric follow me around to res me. And that seems like quite a good thing to do. That's what I've been thinking about maybe doing, is just pick the class that you really like, and then just have a couple of boxes that are only really there for buffs and whatever it may be. So you're not having to concentrate on too many characters at once, because my old brain struggles with that now. Or more my reflexes, I guess, probably, or my macro, what you want to call it. Yeah, so it's kind of a bit like playing P99, but you've just got these two characters following you around that help out when needed. That seems like quite a good way of doing things. Yeah, I find the Star Citizen difficult, and I think I kind of give it a bit of I kind of give it a bit of a pass, which I know sounds ridiculous, but the thing is that when I play Star Citizen, it's an experience that no other game is even remotely close to. It's like when I play it, the experience is such that I feel I get like, I don't know what the phobia is, but you know, when I'm out in my ship, I get this like real sense of, oh my god, there's all this open space around me, and it's like, oh my god. When you get on a planet and it's just you on the planet, and the atmosphere is just phenomenal. So I know I shouldn't do, and I'm not really giving it a pass, but Star Citizen is doing something that no other game, and I mean no other game ever in any genre, is doing. Um, from an atmosphere point of view, and I think the problem with I think the problem with like Pantheon, for example, is it's not doing something that no one else is doing. It's doing stuff that everyone is doing. Even those little things that they said to us, "Oh, this is unique," you know, about the looking at the environment and getting feedback and stuff from the environment. The other games are doing that. Like Dungeons and Dragons Online did that 15 years ago or whatever it was. You know, so what you end up with is you with Pantheon, you end up waiting 10 years for an Everquest clone, really. And yeah, it might have loads of new features and stuff and whatnot, but and great gameplay, but that's essentially what it is. Yeah, I think Enchanter Cleric something is actually quite a popular trio on TACP, or Enchanter Druid something, maybe a plate tank, um, or if you're only going to play the Enchanter. I mean, if I was only going to play the Enchanter, I'd probably have a Cleric and a Bard following him around, um, and just have mana regen song going or whatever. Maybe flip over to that box and AoE Mez or something if things go tits up or whatever. But yeah, but I think Enchanter Cleric something is quite popular. Paladins are really popular as well on here, actually. Hey Don, how you doing, mate? The connection with the character was really something I've really struggled with on TACP. Um, that's probably the hardest thing, actually, because it's quite important to me just from like an immersion point of view and whatnot. Um, I think you can do it. As I said, you can just focus on one character, or even if you don't focus on one character too much, just I think the expectation is that because you can free box, you're kind of almost expected to do that, if you know what I mean. So you kind of feel that if you're not flipping between each client every 2 or 3 seconds, and you're not getting the most out of it, and you're probably not. But yeah, you don't need to do that. But I think I mean, I certainly did when I came in. I kind of felt to myself that I needed to be like, I had all my clients spread around. I mean, I got a big 4K screen, so I had all my clients spread around, and I would flip between them to try and maximise DPS and all that kind of stuff. And I guess that to a certain point, if you're in a dungeon or whatever, you might need to do that. But in general, you know, certainly if you're playing like an enchanter or a class that's good at that kind of thing anyway, Have you not tried TAC-P, Don? I mean, it's very much like P99. I say that. It, it generally feels like it. The no scroll wheel thing for scrolling in and out for a camera takes some getting used to. I still play mostly in first person if I can. There's some differences on the way resistances and stuff for certain spell lines and whatnot. Obviously, it's planes of power and whatnot, but yeah, it actually feels when you're actually playing the game and you're in combat and whatnot, it feels very much like P99. So. As still a newbie, relatively, that's probably the advice I would give someone starting TAC-P. Actually, is don't, even if you have 3 boxes, don't feel like you have to have 3 boxes first of all. You just have an enchanter and a cleric or something or whatever. But yeah, don't feel like you have to play as like a group and kind of macro every client as much as possible, because I think that can detract from the enjoyment a bit. It's funny because like playing group based single player RPGs like I don't know, Baldur's Gate for example. I never had that problem, but I think it's because you kind of create your own character, and so when I would play them, my character will be my character, and Minsk and LOL or whatever it was, they were companions, but even though I controlled them, there was a disconnect between them and my main character. But when you're creating 3 on a game, it's completely different. Yeah, it's I reckon we could probably come up with like half a dozen ways of easing that issue of like disconnect from your character. Definitely, I think because it's EverQuest and you're used to playing just one character and focusing on one character, I think that's probably why it's slightly harder. Yeah. What helped me also, something else, was like to have goals for every character. So like for quests or stuff, maybe for a period of time, say a week, like focus on one of your characters and the quests that they want to do and whatnot, and then for the next week focus on that character or whatever. Just I'm not sure if I noticed it on P99, but on the TAC-P client, there's a certain distance away where there's a slight distortion. I don't know if you can see that XR running towards me. It looks like his trousers have fallen down until they get up close. I guess I'm not sure if that's some kind of performance thing. I don't remember it on P99. I went back to live once on one of those TLP servers and I couldn't hack it. I think I started a troll and I was in I was in the swamp, and the swamp was completely different. They changed it all. Yeah, didn't like it. I did learn some tricks on here, actually, some cool tricks. I think Quell probably told me most of them, actually. But things like my enchanter didn't have any defense skill because he didn't do anything much. So I would duel my shaman and the shaman, and I would set my shaman pet onto him. And the enchanter was buffed enough so he wouldn't take too much damage, and the pet was just high enough level so that you could get skill gains. That was quite funny. I was sitting in Everfrost somewhere in a quiet corner, I think, just training his defensive skill. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I've got two screens, so you can just I mean, I've just got it's all mine are in windowed mode. So I just got three windows essentially. Um, I didn't think of it before, but I guess a druid is also quite good for power leveling other characters, other characters. Not sure if it's a sunset or a sunrise. Is it a sunset? I think maybe. What is that? It's west, yeah. Okay, mate. See you later. And the TACP website's really good as well. It's got like it's got a little section where you can manage all of your accounts, and it tells you what characters you've got on each account, what level they are. I think even what spells they've got. There's like a little spell thing. It tells you what spells you've got and what spells you haven't got. Yeah, it's a really nice little library as well they've got going. Oh, is the boys? Mate, you're right. Yeah, it's just me in a group actually. Oh, hello. Thank you, mate. Yeah, it's just me in a group. Let me invite the Shadow Knight as well, actually. Oh no, don't worry about it. Oh, Valen's Quickling, that's a new one. Is that like a super duper haste spell? I'm playing to powery job or something. Where's my Shadow Knight? Okay. Oh, blimey. Oh, thank you, mate. I can't quite level with. I can't quite group at the moment with these two. The Druid's 8, and the Shadow Knight is. Oh, where's he gone? The Shadow Knight is 13. I'll try again at level 9. Almost level 9. Hey, cheers, mate. Much appreciated. kind of on that streaming trip, in a sense that do some streaming, do more streaming. Have you not played Everquest then? The other thing with boxing as well is remembering to get all your spells and stuff for all of your all of your characters. That's one of the things that I'd go to Plane of Knowledge and buy some spells, and one of the characters would just invariably get forgotten. Yeah, there's been nothing like EverQuest since, really. But when I talk about it, I always feel like I sound a bit hyperbolic. But like the dungeon crawling experience is essentially, yeah. I mean, there's never been anything like it since or before, really. It's just. Did anyone watch the coronation? And what was the coronation coverage like in other countries? I got quite bored, actually. It's a terrible thing to say, but it wasn't as much fun as the funeral. But yeah, I got quite bored. There's a lot of music and a lot of old people kind of standing around. I like all the pomp and ceremony. I like the bit before the coronation, the bit after the coronation. Oh no, that was bad. That was, well, blimey, well jumped the gun there. No. Oh, for God's sake. Yeah, all those bits are probably the best bits, really, weren't they? All the bits surrounding it rather than the... I like learning about all of the artifacts, like the whatever that book was that they got out that's from the 5th century or something, and that big sword that the politician was carrying. I guess the fantasy player in me wanted to start wailing it around, smacking people. Although I don't think it would have lasted very long. It didn't look like it was made for wielding, particularly. I don't know if it was a real. I think it was, but like when they were going to Westminster, the wife said, "Oh, there's a couple of horses at the back there that are playing up," but we didn't actually see that one that careened into the crowd. If that actually was that, and it wasn't just someone. Right, okay. So let's see if my Shadow Knight can now group with my Druid. Invite the Druid. There we go. Because he wasn't getting experience before. Oh, you got some buffs, mate. I can't invite you. Hang on a sec, maybe the Druid needs to do the inviting. Who knows? Oh yeah. Not the Druid. Shadow Knight. Yeah, I was going to go to it. I was going to go to Cairns, but my Druid was a lower level. Was too lower level to be grouping with my Shadow Knight for some reason. There's only 4 levels between them now, so maybe what I'll do is I'll kill something, and if they get XPs, I'll move over to Cairns. Let's just chuck a sow on him as well. I imagine all those jewels on it would actually make a real mess until they fell off. They look pretty nasty, they did. I'll just see if my Druid gets XP, and if so, I'll move over to your Cairns. And assuming someone's not power leveling in there or something. Come on, Druid. Hey, got XP. Okay. Let's do some conga line time. Over to oops, sorry. That was a mic error. Conga line time over to Cairns Tower. Got to remember my shaman. I'll bring him along anyway. I don't think he has a Spirit Wolf installed. Ooh. Oh, I've got to be in the bloody group. Alright then. Holy smokes. terrible at this boxing lark. Oh my word. Okay, are you with me, guys? Yeah, let's go. The skybox in Everquest is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Particularly sunrise and sunset. Like should we go over that way? I don't think we're any aggro to any of the... Oh, actually, no, he's aggro to those. Oh, I don't think my trolls killed any of them. Ah, maybe he did kill some. I'm not sure, actually. Now he's out of food and drink. He smokes. Ooh. Oh, no, that's the wrong way, isn't it? I was looking at some, just some trios that people have done as well. It's cool because you can, like as you said before, you can come up with your own little stories and stuff. I've seen people with all hobbit trios and all gnome trios and all that kind of stuff. Pretty cool. Oh, there we go. We actually managed to get here without too much fuss. And the momentum carried them through as well, all the way through. Oh, there's no one here. Excellent. I don't know what Mashame is doing here actually at the moment. I'll just sit him in a corner. Did I come through the wrong way? Is the etiquette to come through the other way? It's not at all surprising. So I think what I'll do here is I'll follow on the druid and we'll fight our way through, I reckon, to a slightly higher level bit. Before we do that, let's just chuck a bit of the bar was quite low though, wasn't it? I mean, I was just happy to get all my characters here basically without too much fuss. Oh, he's hit me really hard. What's this dude? Oh, he's even con. That's weird. I expected all these to be lower level. No problem. Cool. I should pick up the thing, shouldn't I? My good pal will attest to how great I am at controlling boxes. Let's do a little bit of that, just so I can see that, make sure that Aspens is not getting hit by something. I went through loads of trees to come up with that name. That was the only one that was allowed or available. I think we want to go upstairs, don't we? Oh my word. What we got here? Okay, it's not too much of a problem. There's loads of roamers. I haven't checked that kit you gave me yet, mate. I'll check. I'll have to check. I'll check when I find a spot to sit myself down in. Should I be going upstairs or downstairs? I think I was in here once downstairs and it was absolute chaos. There was a load of pathing issues. And mobs were literally falling through the floor and pulling the whole dungeon with them afterwards. I don't know, up or down? I'll go up, shall I? Kill the skeletons. It's the only thing that's missing, you know, that P99 camera. It's the only thing it's missing. Ow! What a numpty. I've got no experience of that because I left my shaman in the group. How bloody annoying is that? There you go. We said it was going too well, didn't we? Right. Let's pick up the bones, because that makes sense as a Shadow Knight. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Where are you? Oh, you got stuck. Yeah, other than that's all right, I suppose. It's difficult to get a good angle for actual. Yeah, everything about them really. Sound effects. I mean, so I said on the stream. The last stream I did. It was like it really was just a perfect storm, really, like lightning in a bottle. It's no surprise that no one else has been able to do anything with it, really. To come anywhere remotely close. I love the troll in black. Looks really good. I thought of playing a group of trolls once. So like Shaman, Shadow Knight, and I don't know what else actually. I think you're missing some key ingredients there. The other reason for the druids are good, or I guess Shadow Knights as well actually, is like the amount of times I wish I had snare. It's like, I've got 3 characters, not one of them have got snare. Let's have a look around here. Oh, hello. Does this bloke roam? I mean, I can't imagine it matters too much, but... Where did these 2 guys just appear from? Hang on a sec, what are you actually watching? Where's Oh, you're watching the troll's backside at the moment. That's not what we want. Let's put. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. I just thought to myself, are you sitting back with a shaman still? No, thank God. Can we move in a bit closer? No, thanks, mate. Much appreciated. I love that black chain look on the trolls. I just said that, didn't I? Really cool. Let's have a look at that. Is that your monk, mate? What's that? What's that your monk's got? That shield. Oh, cool. That actually looks like a proper shield, doesn't it? A proper metal shield. That's not you. Is that your monk? What is that? What? That's not your monk, is it? SK, oh, okay. Yeah, like ogres, you kind of feel you could outwit in some way, but trolls just look mean, don't they? Okay, I think I'll probably have to might bring my shaman around for a bit of healing shortly. Getting slightly higher. I should probably use my disease card actually just to increase my conjuration skill. Is it just the two in there? Oh. Oh, I got a phone call. Just mute my mic a sec. Sorry, I was on the phone to my mum. Yeah. You can't not take a phone call from your mum. I'm just bringing my shaman up, actually, because I guess I can just sit at the top, that top room there, and get a bit of... just need a bit of healing, really, maybe. I always found it strange when people talk about... Oh, hello. Got some dudes coming. One of the things I notice when I'm not playing ogre, is how stunned you get all the time. And particularly on P99, when people... Oh, come on, Pet, what are you doing? When people talk about frontal stun immunity and blah blah, they only seem to talk about it in a high-end game thing, but I find it... where's the bloody Pet? But I find it, not playing an ogre, I find it really annoying. Keep getting stunned and stuff all the time. That's one of the things that people don't talk about when they talk about that kind of thing. Oh, I know I'm going the wrong way. Don't worry. Yeah, like people talk about it just in the is this the right way? No, it's up here, is it? People just talk about it in the sense of high, you know, like min-maxing endgame stuff. I think I'm lost. Let me just follow. I'll just follow you, mate. Yeah, go on. I'll follow you. Go on. Basically, after a certain level, mob level, I think it's like level 6 maybe, pretty much everything can stun you in some form. And when people talk about, they compare frontal stun to like regen, for example, for a shaman. Yeah, they only talk about it from a min-max point of view, but when you play an ogre for so long and then you stop playing an ogre, am I still going the wrong way? No, it's up here. You really notice that you're not playing an ogre anymore, because every mob's just stunned you. Like every however many seconds it is, you just get stunned. And if you're moving, that obviously also means that you get spun around. There's a little Burinai over there wandering around. An old mole. Okay. I won't kill him. That's not to say regen's not great, of course it is, but it's more like it's just a convenience thing where you just don't get that. Yeah. I don't want your bloody femurs. It's old mole for a quest. Oh, he's not aggro, so that's all right. I can just ignore him. I'm assuming he doesn't assist the skeletons. Yeah, it does people on P99 anyway. There's some people seem to have a bit of a thing about it, and they just reduce it to only min-maxing at end game, but Okay. What else we got around here? Hello? Hello? No. We came that way. So is this the very top? I guess. Oh, okay. Interesting. It was red to me. I hate killing quest mobs, even if there's no one around. It always makes me feel quite bad. Hey mate, yeah, looking forward to it. Yeah, looking forward to it. It was amazing. It had such a. It felt like a comfy pair of shoes. I didn't do much fighting. I just exploring, but. Talking quite a bit about it earlier, actually, just MMOs in general, and say that everyone's still waiting for that great hope to come along. And it feels like people are just become quite less tolerant of, I think, game releases in general, really. Not just MMOs. Like, you almost have to instantly grab them, don't you? Otherwise... yeah, I like the way that your class has kind of got an identity. Well, some of the classes anyway seem to get like an identity quite early on. So you kind of get your toolbox a bit earlier than Everquest, for example. Like it looked like Paladins, for example, got some bits and pieces quicker than they do on Everquest and that kind of thing. I think that's quite important. There's a lot of things I love about Everquest, but well, everything. One of the things I don't like though is just having to wait too long to get class-specific abilities. It's a balance, isn't it, between the class feeling like a class early on, and obviously still having players having something to aim for. It was, yeah, like the movement and the gameplay and everything just felt so comfortable. But yeah, but the world was its own world and whatnot, and I think that's essentially what we've all been asking for at least a decade. Pet spell, I don't think I have, mate, actually, no. What I'll do is I'll probably finish up the stream shortly, maybe another 20 minutes or so, and then I'll probably go and pick up some spells and stuff that I need. Hey Chris, how you doing, mate? Long time no see. Hope you're well. Shaman is one of those classes where one of your class defining spells, really, you don't get till level 60. And I don't know, is there an argument to be made that... That's not to say that it's not an enjoyable class up until that point, or it's unplayable. But is there an argument to be made to say that you know, do you need to wait that long? I guess when level 60 is max, you know, I suppose you want something special at that point. And I guess when you get to level 60, it's not like the game ends, but yeah, but in Monsters and Memories, when I had a quick look at some of the trainers or the class, I looked at the Shaman one essentially, and like you got a slow and a haste and stuff quite early on, and a regen spell. So when I say quite early on, like at level 4, so I think that's fine. I think the thing with redoing EverQuest is I don't know, like who's working on it. It's not, you know, like some EverQuest guys are working on Pantheon, and you know, an EverQuest guy or two is working on Monsters of Memory. So who's left really to create an EverQuest game that everyone's going to want to play? I don't know. I don't feel like an EverQuest 3 would be, you know, would it be more like New World, for example, than EverQuest? That's kind of what I feel about it. I don't know. I mean, I'm such an old stickler that I don't even really like playing EverQuest Live. It just doesn't. Yeah, I mean, it's basically a balanced nightmare. I think the thing that if you create a game and it's like EverQuest, or in EverQuest, for example, so if you play a paladin in EverQuest and it takes quite a while to get to a point where maybe you feel like your class is a paladin, but it's kind of EverQuest, you know, so you kind of forgive some of those things because everything else about it is amazing. The combat, you know, or whatever it is, the faction system, the dungeon crawling, you know. I think the other thing that Monsters and Memories has as well, which is good, is that it gives you some agency at the start. You know, so every class I think is going to have a quest, a start quest of some kind, where you're immediately introduced to your faction. You're given some lore about the world outside, what's going on. Oh, for God's sake! Get out of the way, you bloody human. Yeah, I think that's quite important as well. I think so many EverQuest did it actually. Like, I remember I started to do a video moaning about EverQuest in the fact that that's the one thing it's missing. You didn't really get much agency at the start, but actually, if you're willing to look around, you kind of do. Because I looked around. This is when I started the Paladin, and I looked around and talked to some NPCs. And actually, if you're willing to go and talk to some NPCs, you do get some. It does give you an introduction to what's going on in the world, and you get sent off on a quest to go into Crushbone and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, that definitely helps. Well, if they reboot this and it's exactly the same, but it's got better visuals, then yeah, I mean, I'd certainly give it a try. I guess if they got the original code available anymore, I guess they must have, but But I mean, it would need to be exactly the same, really. I think that's where they struggle. I mean, if you look at the TLP servers, don't they try to start those off as like being the original game, and then they add expansions to it after that? I'm not sure. I mean, I played one of those. It didn't feel like Everquest at all, really. Not classic Everquest, anyway. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, new client. I think I would actually kind of prefer. I don't know really. I don't know if would I like to play a game where the skeletons are different. You know, it's like. I mean, I guess I am, or we're probably in minority, but I love these graphics because they're just so characterful. Whereas modern game engines, I think the characters have lost all their character. Mm. Pity's sake. Hey, Madge, how you doing? I haven't seen it, no. If they can keep the character of the models and whatnot, then you know, I think we'd be all right. Yeah, sure. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's another option. No, it's another option to play EverQuest, isn't it? Really. I mean, whatever your preference is, it's not a bad thing having lots of options. Oops. Yeah, I just couldn't get around it for some reason. I don't know why. I think I went onto a server, one of the TLP servers a few years back, and I think I loaded into it in a full swamp, and I couldn't be doing with it. I just didn't like it. I don't remember what the like years ago I read all of. I don't remember what the law is for Cairns Tower anymore. It looks like a barracks. Did it used to be XR thingy-majig of some kind at some point when the XR Empire was the bee's knees? Where are these stairs? Thanks, mate. Take care. Have a good one. If you haven't had a look yet, I'd definitely go over and check out the Monsters and Memories YouTube channel though, and Discord and stuff, because that, you know, that really did feel like some strong Everquest vibes there, all wrapped up in its own little parcel. Okay, well, I think I'm going to stop the stream here now, guys. I need to have a break. I hope you've enjoyed things. I'm kind of thinking about doing that what I was talking about earlier, like just starting a character on P99, just like no twinking and stuff, just kind of trying to go for that original experience again, and whatnot. And I think I'll probably be playing more TAC P. I feel it just gives me more options. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the stream, and I'll speak to you all again soon.